Ah, you're back. Well, with the Jurassic finished, we then moved on to the Cretaceous. And it was here that my fears about what had happened to Puck were starting to grow quite a bit. See, although he's often getting lost and getting turned about, it's never usually for this long. But I had decided to go and finish up the Extinct Research Lab. We only had one more time period left, and then we could devote all our energy to searching for Puck and trying to figure out what had happened to him. I present the Cretaceous Exhibits of the Extinct Research Lab. Hello, 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 and welcome back to another Minecraft Let's Play video with me, Elven Dragon. So, last episode we went and built up a whole aviary for our Jurassic animals, and today we are moving on to the final exhibit for our Extinct Research Lab, the Cretaceous. Now, I've got a selection of about 4 animals to get set up, and this one's going to be different from the others in that we are going to have multiple different exhibits. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to get started by heading down to the beach over there where we put our plesiosaur and our ichthyosaur for the Triassic, and we are going to get a mosasaur into a tank that we kind of have prepared down there. It was extra space from when we did the ichthyosaur and the plesiosaur, and I am looking forward to getting that fully populated. So I am going to go get a couple more materials to go finish up the wall. It's not quite all the way to the surface, and then I will be back once we get our mosasaur in. All right, and there we go. We have the tank all the way in. We have our mosasaur in here, and I'm quite happy with how this turned out. You do obviously need to do some decoration on the seafloor, but I think it'll be fine for now. So with that, I think it's time we talk a little bit about the mosasaur that we have in here. The mosasaurs were a group of marine reptiles that were related to lizards and snakes. They were powerful swimmers and likely gave birth to live young, although there is an egg fossil from Antarctica that is thought to have been from a mosasaur due to the presence of many mosasaur fossils near where it was found. Their bodies were shaped like modern monitor lizards, but far more specialized for swimming. Our particular mosasaur that we have is Tylosaurus. It is unique in that it has a conical beak that is suspected was used for combat and ramming. It was one of the largest mosasaurs to exist, with a possible maximum length of 13 to 14 meters or more. Scales were diamond-shaped, like those of modern rattlesnakes, but had a ridge that made them more resemble the skin of sharks to reduce the effort needed to move through the water. Analysis of the scale fossils suggests that it may have been darkly colored, which would have helped camouflage it, as well as to absorb heat to keep its body temperature elevated above that of the surrounding water. And that is all we have on our little mosasaur here. But with that in, we can now go and work on the terrestrial exhibits, which are just past the aviary. Now I've gone with 2 exhibits, one for our herbivores and one for our carnivores, just to keep them a bit more separate. And here they are right here. Now, we're going to have 1 carnivore in our carnivore exhibit and 2 herbivores for this one. So I am really excited to get them into their new exhibit. But we also need to work on the trees and the plants, which is going to be a little different than the previous exhibits. Because while our previous time periods that we covered had a lot of ferns and cycads and other cone-bearing plants, Cretaceous forests were a little different. During the early Cretaceous, we see the first evidence of flowering plants. And eventually they pretty much took over the composition of the forests. Many of the plants that emerged are recognizable as being parts of plant families that still exist today, including magnolias, oaks, and maples. So, I think that I am going to start with the herbivore exhibit here, and I'm going to get a couple of them in, as well as a few trees, and then I will be right back. All right, and there we go. There is all of our herbivores that we have, as well as a bunch of different little trees. Now, I decided to go for a mix of these oak and azalea leaves, just because I think they look really nice. And I thought that it would look nice to actually have some flowers. I don't really like having wool in trees. I don't think it looks good. And I don't think it really fits well with the rest of the leaves. So we went with azalea leaves, even though there weren't any azaleas. But we have both of our herbivores in here. Got that one there, and we got the big one right here. We actually had to extend the exhibit out another few areas just to get this guy to fit in here. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with the smaller of the two. So this little guy belongs to the other group of armored dinosaurs that existed, the Ankylosaurs. This particular one is Ankylosaurus, which lived during the very end of the Cretaceous period. It's estimated to have been between 6 to 8 meters long and weighing up to 8 metric tons. And the shape of its mouth, as well as its beak and teeth, suggest that it was a browser, feeding on low branches. Its semicircular tail club was made of two large bony plates, and it's thought to have been used for combat, both in defense and with other ankylosaurs. Its armor consisted of a series of bone knobs and plates that covered its back, two half rings protecting the neck. However, the exact arrangement of all of these plates is still unknown. Our other herbivore is Argentinosaurus, one of the largest land animals of all time, and perhaps the largest, or 30 to 39.7 meters, and an estimate weight of 50 to 100 tons. All that has been found of this massive dinosaur so far is a few pieces of its backbone and a couple of other bones. Because of the scarcity of its bones, its relationship to other sauropods in its group, the Titanosaurs, is still unknown. In addition, there is also a debate whether it is the largest of the titanosaurs that is currently known, and there are other sauropods that may have exceeded it in length, not in mass. And there we go. That is all of our little herbivores. Well, not exactly so little herbivores that we have, and I think that will be just fine for our herbivore exhibit, which means it's time for us to move on to the other exhibit that we built for our one carnivore in this time period. So I'm going to seal up our gate here, and then I'm going to go get that dinosaur in. And we'll probably put in a few trees to go with it too. And there we go. I'm sure this big boy needs no introduction, but we're going to give him one anyway. So, perhaps the most famous of all the dinosaurs that we have covered so far, Tyrannosaurus Rex was one of the last non-avian dinosaurs to exist. Measuring about an estimated 12.3 meters or 40.4 feet long, and up to nearly 4 meters or 13 feet tall, T-Rex is one of the largest known land predators. Although there are other theropods that were close or exceeded it in size, T-Rex is thought to have had the strongest bite force of any terrestrial animal. There has been much debate over whether or not T-Rex was an apex predator or primarily a scavenger, though it is possible that it did both. Presence or lack of feathers is still unknown, although there are several skin fossils that suggest that some other large related species may have possessed some feather covering. But with that, that is all of our Cretaceous animals. So we're going to close up that gate. And that is also going to complete our Extinct Research Lab exhibits. As you see, with the end of the Cretaceous comes the fifth major mass extinction in Earth's history, the one that wiped out the dinosaurs. This one is perhaps the most famous of the five, because, well, it wiped out the dinosaurs. As with all of the mass extinctions, we're not quite sure what exactly caused it, but there is a impact crater off the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula that dates back to 65 million years ago, and there's a layer of iridium that is present in a lot of rocks right at this one layer all over the world, which is important because iridium is far more common in asteroids than it is in the Earth's crust, which is why the current theory is that a very, very large meteor struck the Earth, and the impact and fallout from that is what contributed to the extinction of the dinosaurs. But with that, I want to thank you all so much for watching. And what? Huh? That's kind of weird. I just saw something streak across the sky going that way. Let's go see what that was. It seems a little weird to have something that looks kind of like a meteor streak across the sky right after talking about one. Alright, I haven't seen anything yet. There's Stardust Valley. Let's see. There's the squid farm. We should probably actually finish that. Oh, I think I see something. Oh, Puck? Puck? Hey, ow, ow, ow. There you are. You okay? I don't think he's okay. Alright. Let's get you back to the house. Come on. And there you have it. That's the entire story of how we finished the extinct research lab areas and found Puck again. Now, he's been out for quite a while. He's still recovering from a few of his injuries. And that means we can get back to doing some of the various projects that have built up around the base. But I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing. And I will catch you all in the next one. Goodbye.